And that's what you want to have when it's growing exponentially without you and without your input, without your management. I've got hundreds of RVPs, and I probably only talk to 15. I don't talk to the rest. They don't need me. They're so far down. I have no value. We're not in the same, and not in the same business. A lot of my RVPs are not in the same business that I'm in. And so, talking to James, he heard on a call today where he went 3 deep with somebody and is going to write over $850,000 in mutual funds, which he'll make about $16,000 because he went 3 deep. And he wrote 2 life apps, one $200 a month, the other one $100 a month. So he made another $4,000 there. So he made over $20,000 this month, eventually, because he took somebody 4 deep. Ain't this a great business? Beautiful. And I'm happy for people that don't take people 4 deep. I'm happy for people that don't really want to be an RV and have RVPs. I'm happy for them because obviously they're getting out of life what they want, and I'm happy for them. And I don't try to change anybody. I don't try to convert anybody. I sit there and applaud congratulations. Where you want to be. Well, that's not where I want to be. Oh, yes, it is. You just, you get used to it. And like this man that went to a fortune teller, and he was 25 years old. He said, "Oh, the next 20 years are going to be terrible. The next 20 years are going to be frustrating. So the next 20 years, you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul. You're going to be financially strapped. The next 20 years are going to be difficult. You're going to change numerous jobs. But it'll all change at age 45. He said, "Well, what's going to happen at age 45? I said, "You'll get used to it." How many people in Primerica are used to it? Used to zeros. You see? Used to not double digit. They get used to it. And so I'm happy for them. And, and there's a big role for them in the Primerica picture. And we have to acknowledge that. And I'm happy for everybody. I'm always positive, encouraging, and hopefully. And but we've got a lot of people out there that are saying to themselves right now, there's got to be more to life than this. And we've got the answer. Like when Virginia called me, she had the answer. Again, she didn't recruit me. I recruited myself. I had my magnet out. I was looking for a better life. And I promise you, Carol and I talk about this all the time. Boy, is this system delivered for us. And it's going to deliver for you to whatever extent you want it to. So the next 20 years, you're going to be sitting back going by 2021 was my takeoff year. And that was the year. It all changed. Everything turned around for me. Because why? I find like I was thinking today, you got seeds in your hands and you don't know what kind of seeds those are, whether or not it's weeds or just little sapling trees. But in there's an oak. And that thing will grow to be mighty. And you've got it in your hand. You got to get about 100 seeds out, get 100 people in the next 6 months or less. You got an RVP. Isn't that something? And that 100 is an RVP. That'll make you $50,000 to $100,000 for the rest of your life. Wow, what a promise! And so tonight's going to be legendary, and I'm thrilled that we're going to have Chanika on. Hello, Miss Carolyn.
Good evening, everyone. What a thrill it is to be with you guys. I can't wait. Hi, Vicki.
Hi, Heidi. How are you doing?
Hey, Caroline.
Heidi, how are your
Great,
boys?
Bill.
How are your boys doing?
They're doing great. They're doing great. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. It's like I was talking to Vicky, and man, her son is, how old is he now? 20?
22.
Wow.
It goes fast.
Got a big time job with a company. I know you're proud of him. You know, maybe it's not our cup of tea, but you know, you got to be proud of him. And he's really excelled in life and copied his parents. Jomo, I booked my air reservations for Nashville today, so I'll be there on the 15th.
All right, cool. I'll be waiting.
Yeah, hopefully you won't be alone, Jomo. This is not a date. This is a triple, quadruple, quintuple date.
Yes, it is.
We want a bunch of people around that McDonald's table. Show them the good life.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure Jomo has plenty of people. He will
Yeah,
not be bored.
There's plenty of out there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Hi,
can't wait.
Eugene. Hi, Eugene.
Hello.
Hey, Coach, how are you this evening? How's
Good.
everybody doing?
Bill.
Good, thank you. Eric. Hello, Eric. Hope you're doing well. And the Eric who's driving a car, be careful. I override you. All
Yes,
those
sir.
I-
How you doing, Coach Bill?
all those I don't override, don't worry.
What's up, Bill? I'm sitting down. No more driving.
Well, let me turn on the air conditioning.
Bill, can I do a quick shout out?
Yep.
Tiffany, congratulations on passing your test today. Kudos, 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 kudos.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, this one obviously has clarity to it. It's a little more cloudy. So what exactly is happening? What's that clarity? What's happening? It's just cholera.
It's like so quiet here. What is going on? Isn't this a
Well,
Primerica
Coach
party?
got
What
on
in the world is
early,
happening?
and I didn't get to do the music, and I didn't get to the pre-show because Coach got on early. But this is really the meeting. The meeting before the meeting is the meeting, not the meeting, but before the
Yes.
meeting is when you get all the jewels, as you know. That's why we all get on early.
Yes, yes, yes.
We
This
didn't
is
want to
a-
miss. We didn't want to miss any of Coach's words for music. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And congratulations, Tiffany. Well done. That's huge. That's huge.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Your 4001 code numbers in my hierarchy.
Awesome.
It all started with one, me. Let me know when Shanika's on.
Yes, Coach, I will. I promise.
She might be getting on in a few minutes late because we start exactly at 7.
Yes, sir. I think too, Coach, she actually has her own training on Tuesdays as well. So that's probably why she'll be
No, I think
right
it's
on
Thursday.
time.
I asked her,
Is it
thank you for
Thursdays?
mentioning it, but I think she's got Thursdays.
That makes sense.
Pamela, how's everything down in Alabama? Good? They got a pretty good football team down there? Auburn, huh? Auburn fan?
No. Only if Alabama is nowhere around. Then I'm still gonna pull for it. I've got 2 boys, and one's Alabama, one's Auburn. So I'm a mother divided.
That's a big deal down there, isn't it?
It is. It
I've
is,
toured out-
absolutely.
I've toured Auburn. I haven't toured Alabama, and they're a little greedy down in Alabama.
Well, they can be. Now, they need to soak it up all they can, because when Nick Saban goes, they're just gonna go like this right here for a while.
Yeah,
So they
he's
better
only-
ride high while they got the chance.
Well, he's only 69 years old, so you got plenty of years left with him.
Absolutely. But he gonna give himself a stroke. He keep yelling like that.
Yeah. Hi, Andy Shoup.
Hey, Bill, don't ask me about my team because we're the Connecticut Huskies and we're the worst in the nation. So there you go. How about that?
Well, at least you got rid of your coach. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we forcibly retired. Yes.
Girls
Unbelievable.
basketball is right around the corner. Hey,
Yep.
Bob Gebhardt.
What's that?
Hey, Bob Gebhardt, how are you?
Oh, good.
Just finer than frog hair.
That's another one you can put down, Carolyn, right next to shenanigans, right? Words we never use.
Finer than frog hair. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting close to getting started, and we're gonna, as you all know, we're gonna have a great meeting tonight, and I cannot wait to hear Chanika, and I'll talk in a couple of minutes in our introduction about how teachers. Thank you. Hello, Chanika.
Hello everyone. Hi, Bill. How are you doing?
Good. We're really looking forward to having you share with us tonight, and we're going to be starting in about 1 minute, and I'll give a little bit of an intro, and then give it to Tony for about 6 or 8 minutes, and then Chanika will tell her story, which is not unusual. We have to have people understand that her story is not unusual. This is what happens when a person of her caliber has been in the wrong profession that didn't pay her enough. And then she got here and she finally found her true worth. And we have to all understand that the phenomena is the system that you're in, I'm in, Shanika's in, and it's finally a round peg in a round hole. And most people are living lives round peg in a square hole, but wondering why it's not working for them. And when you find your home, all kinds of good things will happen. Well, good evening, everyone. And my name is Bill Orender, and I've been with our company now for many, 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 many decades. And I'm so happy to be where I am. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I've got offices all across the United States, financial services brokerage offices. We're in 37 states. We've got over 4,000 licensed people in our business that have come through and took a look and take just a kind of a snapshot like you're doing tonight. And tonight you're gonna not get the whole story, but you're gonna get one person's story and what happened to her and how she started part-time and changed careers and literally exploded to significant six-figure incomes with more to come. But she was just as successful as a teacher. So understand, she was successful as a teacher. She took those same kind of the information, the training, her passion, her desire to help people, her desire to be the best that she can be, changed addresses, and she went from $50,000 a year as a teacher to over $400,000 a year here in a relatively short period of time. Now, again, it should not be fast. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but something that you can really work on, develop, and earn the kind of income that truly you deserve because you work hard and you care, and all the things, the attributes that are home run hitters here. And we're going to first start with Tony Alexander, who's going to go through a short little piece about who we are, who's Primerica. Oh, I've never heard of your company. Is this brand new company? Is it a solid company? Does it work? So we have Tony Alexander talk to us a little bit about who is Primerica. Tony?
Hello and good evening, everybody. Thank you, Coach. My name is, as you know, Tony Alexander. Been with the company since 2008. And if you're sitting here and you're like, what is this all about? I know nothing about financial services. Well, I'm here, I think, to give you hope, because my illustrious financial knowledge before Primerica was how to be broke, and I was extremely good at it. I had 6 figures of credit card debt before the age of 27. Woohoo! And I really paid the price of my ignorance and illiteracy when it comes to finances. And so I'm here to let you know that if you're here brand new, if you're not too sure what this is and you don't quite know if you fit in, I will tell you right now, if you have a good heart and a willingness to win, you have found your place. And I'm proud to tell you that I am so proud of who I am and what I do than I've ever done before. And so I want to share with you a little bit about what our company is and why we're so good at what we do. And the first thing I want to ask you is this question: how often do you think about money? Now, I don't know about you, but if you asked me this question when I was broke, which was pre-Primerica, I'd be like, every day, all day. It was like my best friend and my nemesis at the same time. And the truth is, everyone's thinking about money, and especially in these times, but not even these times, but always, if you think of it, we always are, because we never quite know what to do. Because here's the challenge. The problem with money is it doesn't come with an instruction manual. I got a toaster during the 2020 pandemic, and my toaster came with an instruction manual. Like, if you don't know where to put the toast and how to push the plunger, we got bigger issues. But I thought about, I'm like, a toaster comes with a manual, but my paycheck never did. Because everything in life comes with instruction manual except for your paycheck. And so what happens with that? We'll see what some of the symptoms of this problem. 30% of people say they have less than 25,000 in savings and investments to put away for retirement. And I don't know about you, but that's not retirement. That's a plan for retirement or never ever leaving work. Almost half of Americans say they worry they'll run out of money in retirement. Okay, so here's my question with that. What about the other half? Because I don't know about you, but I think the other half is probably lying. Because most of us don't know if we're going to have enough money for retirement because no one's ever taught us. Let's talk about debt. The average American has $90,000, $460,000 in consumer debt. That's credit cards, personal loans, auto, mortgages, and student debt. So I just want to tell you, I was way above average. I had almost all of that plus more only in credit card debt. But that's not because these are not good people who don't work hard. It's because they don't know what to do with what they have. And more than 3 Americans say a purchase of $100 or more would max out their credit card. And I can tell you sincerely, I had that double swipe card. You know what I'm talking about. When you give your credit card to the waitress and she goes over and then she swipes it and she looks at you from across the room and swipes it again. And then she gives you the declines, like the story of the check. And all my friends would say the same thing. Again, I'd be like, I only had salad. But this is the reality of most people. Wouldn't you agree? That really our ignorance and illiteracy about personal money and finance, its biggest cost to me actually is not money, it's self-respect. And the last thing is protection. Nearly half, or 46% of Americans, have no life insurance coverage in 2020. Almost half don't have any form of life insurance. And I don't know about you, but I happen to read some books and I know that we have 100% mortality. I've never known anyone who's going to get out of this alive. And so out of all of those people who don't have insurance, they are going to pass. But the question is, what will they leave behind? And about 60 million American households are underinsured or uninsured with an average life insurance gap of $200,000. So what does that tell you? That when a loved one dies, the family's looking around and they realize that they're missing $200,000 or more of life insurance. So what are the choices? We see them. It's the GoFundMe's. It's the pass around the hat before the funeral. It's the families maxing out their credit cards. This is all avoidable if people would just learn what to do. But here's the challenge. No one's teaching them. No one but us. And how's this for income? Nearly 4 out of 10 Americans would need to borrow money to cover a $1,000 emergency. And my mama was very smart, and she used to tell me this: Tony, you just came from an emergency, you're in an emergency, or you are about to approach an emergency. So you need to have money for the emergency. But if what you make is what you need, there's no room for savings. True or true? And also 74% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. And I never understood it, but I got paid every 2 weeks. My bills came every month. It's supposed to work out, but I always had too much month at the end of my money. I never could have enough. And I think that's where most people suffer from. This is why we are in the situation that we're in. And so who's there to save you is a company called Primerica. I got introduced to this company in 2008, and it literally blew my world apart. Because we're publicly traded in New York Stock Exchange. That's us, our second time we had to open the bell. We have 130 licensed reps. We're the largest independent financial services marketing company in all of North America. We've been in business since 1977. So we've been around for a very long time. We have over 5.5 million lives insured and approximately 2.6 million investment clients. What is that? That's 5.5 million last love letters we're going to deliver when their loved one dies. And it's 2.6 million clients that trust us because we've earned it. And the 4 reasons why Primerica is having success, you guys, is one, there's a high consumer demand for what we do. We started to think, how often do you think about money? Everyone thinks about money. Everybody that you know thinks about money, but there's no place for you to go to answer those questions. We have proven concepts and solutions that make a difference, a significant difference in your life. We're one of the few truth tellers out there because why? We're people like us helping people like us. So if you're like us, welcome. You found your place. Also, our distribution system is our strength. We believe in the part-time opportunity to a full-time career. We believe in good people helping other good people. And lastly, our compensation program is unique and revolutionary. I don't know about you, but when I first started, and they said, Tony, you want people like you. I did this. Me? But I'm broke. And they said, but you have a heart to serve. You have a willingness to do things, the right things for others, and you're willing to stand up for something you know is right. And I said, yes, you're right. You know exactly who I am. I said, Tony, our mission statement has never changed. It's to help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. Can you stand behind that? And I looked at that and I go, everybody wants that. Wouldn't you agree? Everybody wants those things. I want those things. And the first time ever, I found a company, I found a vehicle that would take me there. And I ran with it. And I love it. When you help a family and you teach them, you change their life, you change their family tree from that branch on. When I first did that, I helped my first family, I said, I'll never, ever stop. And I haven't yet because I love this. And in closing, I just want to tell you this from my heart. We all want to be significant. I wanted the chance that when they finally pat my face with a shovel in the ground, they're going to say, here lies a stud who made a difference in the world. And if you're looking for that, I invite you to have an open heart, an open mind, and open ears, because you're about to hear a message that can literally change your life and your children's lives forever, because it's changed ours. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Tony. That was outstanding. Great explanation. You know, most people missed out on the fact that we are a New York Stock Exchange company. Well, you take that for granted. There are over 450,000 companies in America. Only 1,500 US companies qualify to be on the New York Stock Exchange. Very, very difficult, rare to get on the New York Stock Exchange. And our company has been on the New York Stock Exchange since 1982. Isn't that amazing? Wow, it's unbelievable. And so we're thrilled tonight to have Chanika Turner. And the reason we're having Chanika on is our company at its genesis in 1977 built everything on teachers and coaches, because the founder of our company was a coach, football coach, and their teachers. And he thought, everyone's like me. Every teacher is broke. Every teacher wants more. They're all being put too much work on them. So he went and talked to all his teacher coach friends, and they all joined on a part-time basis. A lot of them went full-time, changed careers, and are still teaching, except they changed address. And so we have Chanika Turner, and Chanika It was the Dallas Independent School District Teacher of the Year. Think about that. The one teacher, and maybe you can tell us, Chanika, how many teachers there are in Dallas, but you were the one picked. Yet we all know now with your story that you weren't as happy as we would thought you've been, because teachers aren't that happy. And so again, Chanika was already successful. She wasn't somebody who could not make it anyplace else and had to go into some place that would jettison the success. Again, she was the same person. She had the same abilities, talents, caring, passion to help others, especially students. Changed addresses. She's still a teacher, but she's a high-paying teacher, making 8 times more than what she was making. And here's the nice part. When she was making $50,000 as a school teacher, she had stress, she had pressure. 9 months a year she had to work. She had all kinds of stuff. Now she's making 8 times more than that. And she doesn't have to work at all to make that money. And that's a whole different story. So she's going to tell her story, and then she'll get back to me and we'll tell you where we go to from here. Chanika, we're thrilled to have you. And what a bright star you are in all Primerica, not just in Texas, not just in Dallas, but through all North America. Chanika Turner.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here on the call with you guys. Thank you for zooming in to hear this amazing opportunity. Thank you to Tony and Coach Bill Orender for opening it up and definitely having me on tonight. And I just want to, first of all, tell you guys how much of a blessing Primerica has been to us, to my family, to me, my husband, my daughter, a huge blessing. And not just to me, but everyone that I've come in contact with. And so just to share a little bit about my story and how this awesome company came to me, like, Coach Bill Orender said, I am a former school counselor, a former teacher. I worked 14 years in public education, and my first years in education, I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I loved working with the students. And originally I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to be out in the field working with families. And so teaching just kind of somehow, they said that's your backup plan. I didn't want to be confined to 4 walls. And so I end up using my backup plan and go teach. And I fell in love with it, became teacher of the year for the district. And you would think, oh my gosh, it's such a high accolade. Let me tell y'all what happened. When I became teacher of the year for the district, the superintendent at the time, he flew me to Austin. So I'm speaking to politicians about teaching in the industry and what teachers need. And he took me to dinner that night. And literally he told me, now y'all, this is the superintendent talking to his teacher of the year. He said, get out of the classroom. I said, I'm working on that. I'm gonna be a school counselor. He said, literally that night, he told me 3 times, get out of the classroom. And so I was like, wow, this is the superintendent of all of Dallas ISD telling me to get out of the classroom. And I just was named his teacher of the year. So that just kind of stayed stuck in my head. But the very next year I became a school counselor. I was at a different campus. And that's when the pressure came. The higher you go up, in corporate or even education is still corporate. Believe me, it is. The higher you go up, the more political it becomes, the more pressure you get. And so the campus I was at, it was a lot of turmoil going on there. And that's where the pressure came. And I would have never thought to come to Primerica. I didn't even know there was such a thing or something I can do. My go-to was, I'm going to go back to school. I mean, you talk to anyone in public education, they're back in school. Not because they really want to go back to school. They're trying to figure out something to do, and to not pay their student loans. I'm just being honest there. So I just signed up to go back to school. And that's when my phone rang. I was at work. I was frustrated. I was in the car praying. I had 5 principals in 2 years. So it was a lot of back pain, just a lot of pressure at that campus. And my husband, he was the one that said, you got to do something else. Like, this is not it. When you're going home and you're just physically tired and you got pain all over you. He was like, no, this is not it. You got to do something else. And that's when I got a phone call from Taria Doty. She's the regional vice president that met with my husband and I. And it just that one phone call, guys, completely changed my life. And it truly was a God thing, because typically I don't, just like you, I don't answer numbers that I don't know. But on that particular day, I'm in the car, I'm frustrated, I'm crying, I'm praying because I'm mad at work and I didn't want to go back in. And I accidentally answered the phone. Okay. And I say that word loosely, right? And all she said was she wanted to meet with me. And I just said, sure. She knew my friend and she met with us. But I want to show you guys a picture, just literally just because we all know, teacher of the year for the district, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So this is when I became teacher of the year for the district. And everyone in this picture, literally are either clients of mine now, or one of them, she's now regional vice president with me, because I took what I learned as a teacher and as a counselor, and I brought it to this industry. And you got to realize there's a lot that we don't know about finances. There's a lot that we don't know about our money. And so I'm just going to take a backstory real quick and just kind of share, just because we're all taught to go get this degree. And so that's what we do. And so literally, so this is me as a school counselor. I worked at Ebby Holiday. I got a chance to meet the Ebby Holiday. She had her 101st birthday on campus there. So I had a chance to meet her. She gave me her book, and she was an entrepreneur. She has a book called From Hats to Houses. And so I read that book and I'm thinking, okay, I got to start my own business. Once again, it's all about the seeds that are being planted. You never know, why things turn out the way they are. But that was the seed that was planted about having a business, right? Or just one of the seeds about having a business. And so I'm just going to take a backdrop of before Primerica and now with Primerica and what has happened over the last 9 years. So before Primerica, right, it took me 4 years to get my bachelor's, right? And I'm not bashing getting a degree. Getting a degree got me out of the hood. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, grew up right along MLK. Anywhere there's an MLK, you're in the hood, right? So the degree got me out of the hood. It just put me in another hood, the neighborhood, where you're still living paycheck to paycheck, right? 2 years to get my master's. I graduated college in 1999. I had a student loan, guys. This is the only student loan I had. My undergrad was $36,000 when I graduated college. This is things they don't tell you, right? When Taria met with me, it had grew to $75,000. Right? I didn't get a loan for my master's. I paid that out of pocket. And not because I wanted to, but because the college I went to didn't do loans. If they did loans, I would have had a loan for that too, right? Because they don't tell you these things until after the fact, right? And when I like the fact that Tony said, how often do you think about money? Right. So I'm going to tell you just the timeline of money, because this is what happens when you meet with people. They say, I'm good. Oh, I'm good. But this is what good is. Good is having $75,000 in student loans. Good is having no retirement. Good is barely making ends meet. And so when people say I'm good, on the outside, it may look like they're good. My husband had just started his business. I was a school counselor. So we were good until you see the paper. Right. So my first job out of college, I made $20,000. Y'all, I was always looking for ways to make money. So I kept track of how, because I wanted to make sure I was getting an increase every year with my money. This is how literally. And so when people say, all you think about is money? Yes. When you work a job, all you think about is money because you're trying to see what can I do to make more money. Right. Then after that, I moved to Dallas. I made $24,000 at a domestic violence shelter. I was a youth counselor there. Then from there, I worked at Buckner Children's Home. I was a youth advocate there. I made $27,000. Then there was a huge layoff, right? Because they cut, programs. This is what happens when you work jobs, right? That's when 9/11 happened and they cut, funded programs. So that position was done. So then that's when I became a teacher. So my first year as a teacher, I made $32,000. Then, each year you get an increase, When I became a counselor, I made $50,000, right? That was my last job as an employee. I made $50,000. Now I'm going to show you just tell you my track record when it comes to Primerica. Now it took me, I graduated college in 1999. So from 1999 to 2012, the highest income I made was $50,000. And that's with 2 degrees, with a master's and a bachelor's. Okay. You got to look at the numbers. And so I took what I learned as a teacher and a counselor, and I brought it to this industry. Right. And so now, I started Primerica in 2012. And I right here, I have just my trend track of what it looks like when you work a business, right? Keep in mind, being an entrepreneur, working a business in Primerica though, because other businesses don't work the same way. So, I went from my first year, I started right in June, I made $7,800, and that was part-time. So just imagine making additional $7,800, additional $8,000 on your own time, especially with today in Zoom, you can do that practically from home. Okay. The very next year made $18,000. That's when I quit my job. I fired my boss. My husband said, let's go for it. And we just said, okay, we lowered our expenses and we said, okay, if we both can't make money to pay our bills, something wrong. We need to get a job. But we went for it. We put all our eggs in and we went for it. So made $18,000. Then from there, made $22,000, became a regional vice president, made $36,000. Then I made $84,000. Y'all, this was 2016. 2012 went to $132,000. That would have never happened as a school counselor. I would have never made $132,000 as a school counselor. And that's only 5 years in the business. Now, keep in mind how long it took me to make $50,000 working corporate, working a job. Graduated college in 1999, made $50,000 in 2012. Okay. So the next year made $180,000, $180,000. The next year, $376,000. Went from 180 to 376 in 1 year. Right. And this year we've already crossed over 400,000. So guys, you got to realize, and what happens is people think, oh my gosh, it's taking forever. You're still working that thing. You're still doing that thing. Not realizing, look how long it took me to make 50,000 at that thing called a job. And once you open up your mind and say, you know what, I can use those same skills of teaching, those same skills of loving on students, those same skills of breaking down how things work, those same skills, and bring it here to teach families about their finances, to break down their money, to show them the importance of life insurance. The same thing you did as a teacher. If you were an economics teacher, geometry teacher, I taught second grade. Okay, second grade is like you break things down to make it to where a second grade can understand it. That same information, you bring it here, it will pay you well. Why? Because the financial service industry needs you. They need teachers, they need coaches, people that are going to coach people, inspire people, breathe belief into people. You do that for students, do that for adults, and it will pay you well. And so I'm just excited because we're just getting started. I've only been in business 9 years. Look how long it took me to make 50,000. Y'all, literally, we make 46,000 in 1 month. In 1 month, $46,000. So almost making what I made in a year, making it in 1 month. That is amazing because I took the time to learn business and to really see what this opportunity can do for me. Okay. We're not saying quit your job today. We're saying get a license, get with the person that brought you here and start to learn this thing. Just like you learn how to become a teacher, same thing here. There's a map, there's a guideline, there's mentors, there's coaches to walk you through it. When you're a teacher, they throw you in there and say, figure it out. They throw you in a classroom with 20, 30 students, and you got to figure it out. You got to figure out how to do classroom management. You got to figure out how to teach all these kids and make them be quiet and listen to you. But here there's a map, there's a guideline to walk you through how to do this. Now, there's still some things you got to figure out about yourself, but the business is already figured out. You don't have to figure out the business. It's already done. It's just you making up your mind. So you know what? I'm willing to learn this. I'm willing to learn this. I'm willing to get licensed and see what this can do.
I guess she froze, but
Yes,
she'll be
Coach,
back.
she will be back.
Think about it till she gets back on, to me, was she has an interest in other people because she knows a lot of teachers. Would you text her and let her know that she froze? She probably does. But, when I was in corporate America, if I was successful, there's no way I can bring any of my friends in on this. I love the fact that she had that picture of Teacher of the Year. It's only $1,000 bonus. Yet she said she brought all those other people who are, a lot of them are making over 100,000, double their income here. And so you can reach out to people who want a better life like you do. You can reach out to people and share this. Doctor can't help me become a doctor. Dentist can't help me become a dentist. And all it really is who wants to work for 40 years anyway. I understand $400,000 of her income is coming in whether or not she works, because she built a brokerage, much like you heard that woman, Ebby Halliday, who has built a largest brokerage in Dallas, Fort Worth, and was bought out by, oh geez, they help me think of the name
Berkshire
of the
Hathaway, sir. Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway, yes. It owns it. And they paid her $60 million to get her brokerage. And so we have people start their financial services brokerage. And we're not going to go into detail exactly what we do, because that's up to the person who invited you to get on this program. They're going to meet with you maybe afterwards on a Zoom or tomorrow and go through the X's and the O's and how all this works.
I'm here. I'm on.
There she is. And we finished you saying that it took you 9 years to go from zero to over $400,000 a year. And that 400,000 is coming in whether or not you work. Big difference. You had to work for 50,000, never could stop. Right now, if you and Edward stopped working, that income would not go down. Talk about that, and I'll let you continue.
Oh my gosh. That's the exciting thing about this, is that it's you don't have to guess whether the money is coming or not. When you build the business, when you build it and it operates without you. Okay, that's the key thing about business, that you build it to where you can step away and it operates without you. The money comes in without you having to go and work for it. And so literally we make typically about $35,000, $37,000 a month without working, without me having to put in a policy, without me having to do anything, because the business is built. And so we get it, like right now, we just purchased a new home. Now we've been in our house since I got that house when I became a teacher, right? It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. We've been there. Now, mind you, we make over $400,000 a year, and we still live in the same house that we had when I first became a teacher. And so now we're buying a 10-acre property. It's exciting. It sits on this reservoir. It sits on water. I mean, I can't wait. We move in at the end of October, and it's exciting. This is our first home since being in Primerica. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And so we'll have team events there. It has this huge shop, and all this land. Edward loves land, and it's just gorgeous trees, and I'm excited about it. And so we're gonna move into that home in October.
Well, one of the things that I was just mentioning while you were frozen was it's one thing to make money yourself, but to invite other people. That picture that you had when you were Teacher of the Year and all those other teachers, you could invite them to a better life. It's just not you that makes it. And so you offered them that same opportunity, and some of them have taken you up on it. Isn't that wonderful? They're going to be owning 10 acres of land one day, hopefully right next to you. Talk about that.
Absolutely.
And how wonderful it is to be able to hear.
Absolutely, literally. So everyone in that picture, I did talk to them about the business. Every single one of them, I talked about the business. One of them in particular, she's a broker with me. She has her own office in DeSoto. She now makes over $100,000 a year. She used to be a school principal. So let me show you that picture. Hold on. Let me get there real quick. But right here, so Latoya Fleming, she was Latoya Jarvis at the time. She's the one that's right next to me with the pink and black on. She's now a regional vice president with me. But every single person in this picture, I sat down with them, I shared the business with them, and they became clients, and she became a broker. And now she makes over $100,000 a year. And she didn't make that as a principal. And so she makes more as a now here than as a principal. And so
that's the worst job in the world, isn't it?
oh my God, it's a
stressed.
thankless position. It
Stressed.
literally.
Well, we'll talk about a second how people on this call who are teachers and coaches, they know teachers and coaches who want to get out. What percentage of teachers who have been there at least 10 years want to say, your superintendent said to get out? What percentage of teachers are saying there's got to be more to life than this and looking for an opportunity?
Literally all of the teachers that I knew, and they love teaching. Don't get me wrong. They love the teaching aspect of it. It's the politics, it's the rhetoric, it's the, the parents, and especially what's happening today. Just think about what's happening today with everything that's going on. There's a lot of teachers that are leaving the district because of what's happening in the environment today. And so not that they don't love teaching or they don't love their students, it's everything else that comes with it. Think about this, okay? To make extra money as a teacher, we worked, extra hours tutoring, and they pay $20 an hour for tutoring, right? They've taken that away. Wow. In most districts, they consider that now part of your working day. So the things that you did to make extra money is now considered part of your working day. One of the things that I did as a teacher, I was part of the SILT team. The SILT is a leadership team, right? You have all these extra hours you got to put in for this one-time $1,000 stipend they give you at the end of the year. Okay, they've taken that away. The things that you do to make, and that's a lot of hours you put in for that $1,000 stipend. Think about people that are coaches or that are sponsors, the drill team sponsors. They get that same $1,000 stipend, but think about all the hours they put in: after school practice, sports games, the traveling, the away from their family they do. They put in all that for $1,000 stipend. And then all the other stuff that comes with that, right? And so you got to realize that, teachers, they love what they do, but at the end of the day, it's not loving them in the same way.
Wow. What do you mean it's not loving them? I love that statement.
I mean, it's not loving. You know who has the most heart issues? Principals. You know who has the most physical issues? Principals, teachers. Who has feet issues because you're on your feet all day? Teachers. It's not loving them. Your body deteriorates. There are so many teachers that their doctor told them you got to change your profession because you're having heart palpitations. You're having sores and blisters on your feet because you're on your feet all day. There are so many doctors that tell teachers to change your profession because it's not helping with your health. So it's not. And then you got to realize you're with the students. People think, oh, that's a cush position. No, you're with the students from the time you step foot on that campus to the time you make yourself go home, and you still work when you get home because you got to grade papers. The only time you have is that lunch break, which is still not even, it's 30 minutes, right? And then maybe that 45-minute break if you're not working during that time. And so you got bladder issues because you're not able to go to the restroom when you need to, because you got to be with students all day. That's what I mean by it's not loving them back. It's just not.
And you had $75,000 of student loans just to get that job.
To get that.
You had to borrow $75,000 just to get that job that doesn't love you. Talk about that and how so many people are saddled with student loans and there's no way to get out.
I know so many teachers that owe over $300,000 in student loans. Why? Wow. Because they go back to school. And some districts are requiring teachers to get a master's, and they're not paying you more for that master's. They just want to say all of our teachers have masters. just to have that accolade for their district. But meanwhile, they're not paying you more for that master's. So you're getting in debt, right? And it's required that you get a master's now. So you're getting more in debt and not getting paid for it. Like, that makes no sense.
Well, talk about Edward and his amazing support. He probably wanted you to do this more than you wanted to do this, didn't he? Because he was a part of the victim of that you had to go through it, and he was affected by all this. Talk about him and how many spouses on this of the teachers on this call would be thrilled if they found something different because their beloved wife or husband doesn't have to go through it all like you've had to go through.
Oh, absolutely. He is 100% supportive in me leaving the district and me going full force in Primerica. I remember right when I turned, well, first of all, I was scared to turn my resignation letter in, only because I think as a teacher, you like the stability, even though that once a month paycheck ain't paying much. You get paid that one day and it's gone the very same day. It's just the stability of knowing this is coming in every month. And so when school started, I started Primerica in June. School started that August. I turned my resignation in that August. And he was like, and I had to call him, y'all. I had to call him. I was like, okay, I got the paper in my hand. He said, go turn it in. Like, what are you waiting on? Go turn it in. And so I was just scared to turn it in. So I turned it in though. And I was like, it was like a huge weight was lifted off of me when I turned it in. And so he was the one that helped me go full time. Now, let me tell you something else though. Right when I turned it in, a good friend of mine who became a principal, she called me and she was like, Chanika, I know you're leaving the district, but I got a part-time counseling position. I need a part-time counselor at my campus. Can you do that for me? I know you work in your business, but can you do that? And I was like, sure, I can do that. I was kind of, and so I didn't tell Edward at first. So one night we're talking, we're in the backyard just talking, and he says, and I tell him, and he was like, you're not gonna do that. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not gonna do that? He said, no. And so the strong woman in me wanted to say, no, I'm doing this. And he said, Chanika, listen, she gonna hire you part-time, but she gonna work you full-time, and you're not gonna have time for the business. And once he said that, I understood 100% where he was coming from. And I said, you're right. And so I called her the next day. She already knew, like literally, I didn't have to say nothing. She already knew. She was like, I know. So went full-time.
My wife has got a niece that was 31 years old and borrowed money to go to college, all that stuff like you've been telling me, got to become a choir director. She would get letters from parents and at least twice a week go to bed crying. And some of the lovely, wonderful older women said, get out before you get stuck and it's too late. Yeah. And she did. Talk about that. And people have no idea the stress and the pressure that teachers go through from parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's a whole nother topic in itself. The stress you get from parents, and depending on all districts nowadays, because here's the thing, years ago, we were all in school. The parents stood by the teacher, right? The parent was in support of the teacher and they got onto the child. Where today, the parent is in support of the child and they get onto the teacher. Even if their child is in the wrong, it's like, what are you doing to help my child pass this course? And it's like, no, this is your child. You need to get onto your child. They need to pass this course. It's not onto me. But because of what society or whatever happens today, right? The parent is now like fussing at the teacher about their child not passing, instead of it being the other way around. And so there's so much on teachers now to make sure children pass, no matter what environment they come from, no matter what, neighborhood they come from, no matter what their parents are doing or what background, what school, what happening at home, it's still the teacher's fault, whether or not this child passes, and they're getting financially penalized for it.
Chanika, talk to the folks on this call, the difference between your day as a teacher, what time you got up, how you had to, what time you got home, what time you finished grading papers and doing all that stuff, What's your life like now?
Oh, wow.
Tell
I'm glad.
down.
I'm glad you say that. So as a teacher, because you're working, like literally you're working. And so I was a part of the SILT team. That's the leadership team. So I had to get to school early. We had to get to school by a certain time. I want to say maybe it was 7 o'clock because we had duty we had to do. So mind you, I had a daughter and I had to make sure she, was at school super early because I had to be at work early. Because I was on the leadership team. And so we had duty to do, then school started. So of course you get your kids, you're with them all day. And then even after school, you're with them to tutor them. And so then you can't grade papers during the day because you're with students all day. So what do? You take that home. Now after school, you got to clean up your room, sharpen pencils. So you're still even working after the students leave. And then you take that home. I remember one time it was like, can you just do your work at work? And I'm like, you don't understand. I can't. I got to bring this home and grade papers and sharpen pencils and get things prepared for the next day, because during the day at work, I'm with students all day. And so I had to figure out a way, because I was newly married at the time, on how to have home time without having to work at home. And so that's another thing you got to figure out. How do you keep work at work when you got to bring work home? Whereas today, I have freedom. I go home. Huh?
Who's your boss here?
Oh, I'm my own boss. I don't have a boss here. It's, you own your day. And that's the exciting thing about it, is you get a chance to own your day. When I go to the campuses now, because I volunteer there, I do different things for the teachers, and they know that. Just from, I tell my agents, I say, when you walk on that campus, you got to be a breath of fresh air, because they know something's different about you. They know you're not a teacher because you're not carrying that stress around. You're smiling. You're literally walking through that campus like a breath of fresh air. And it's different. They notice it because they're walking around stressed, and it shows on their face. It shows on their body. And it's exciting not to have to go through that. It's exciting not to carry that weight of stress on your shoulders. That's why they're having, I remember one of my co-teachers, she used to wear this heart monitor. Literally, she wore this heart monitor because she was having heart palpitations, and her doctor told her, you need to change professions because it was due to the stress at work.
But you got all those years of education, you got all that student loans. It's kind of hard to change professions. I've got a friend of mine whose husband is a principal, and he's got enough years in, and he wants to get out. He can't take it anymore. He loves the kids, but he doesn't like everything else, and it's getting worse. And I said, well, what's your husband going to do? She said he would right now want to go work for Home Depot, because he's his own man, and he doesn't have all that. Talk about how there's a lot of principals, not just teachers, that are ready to get out and make a move, and we could capture them into your businesses right now, can't we?
Absolutely. There's a ton of principals. I mean, that they work part-time jobs, Ubering. As a matter of fact, my friend that was a principal, who's now a broker, she Ubered part-time. I mean, there's just, there's so many, they're looking for something. They're looking, and they love being a principal, but it's all the other politics that come along with it. And so really go talk to them. Let them know what's available here. Let them know that, we'll walk them through the process. It's just different. It's a different level of work when you work for yourself. It's a different level of freedom. And you can creatively think when you work for yourself, because you're working for you, not for somebody else who's mandating your time.
Isn't it fun to know other teachers like your friends who are in your business? You've got them out of there so happy, and they're your best friends, and you're going to be going on trips like you just came back from Orlando. You're going to Hawaii. Our company is sending you to Hawaii next February. How many trips have you been on since you've been with the company? And you went on 0 trips with the school system.
Oh my gosh. Since we've been in business, we've won every trip. with the exception of one. So I want to say we've probably been on, Edward, you're on here. How many trips we've been on? At least
18, 15, 18.
Yeah, 18, 17, 18,
Ele-
literally.
ele-
How many times? Go ahead,
I
Edward.
think like 12. Oh, I think
because it's
I
every
think
other
probably
year.
like you mean 13 trips. Probably like 13 trips. Probably about 13.
Mhm.
How many times you been to Hawaii?
Twice. Gonna be 3.
And you're gonna go again in February. Would the school system ever send you to Hawaii?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we took my dad. So I called my dad up the last Hawaii trip. This is before we knew we were going to Hawaii. I called my dad up and I was like, Dad, what's your like bucket list, like your trip, your destination you want to go on? And he said Hawaii. And so when we found out we were going to Hawaii, I called him up. I said, Dad, guess what? We're taking you to Hawaii. And he was so excited. So we took him to Hawaii. He enjoyed it. He still talks about that today. He got a chance to meet people and see what the business was about, but he truly enjoyed being able to, and we enjoyed being able to fly him to Hawaii because that was his dream trip.
Isn't that wonderful that you not only make a better life for yourself, but your better life for yourself is dependent on your ability to make other people's lives better with you. And talk about that, and we'll end on that and give us a final word, Chanika.
So I'm going to share this picture right here. This is how the business works, where you're able to really not just impact your life, but impact others, right? So I talked about, and I'm going to share just how I know each of these people. So like Latoya Fleming, her and I were teachers together. Okay. She was a go-getter. We both did things on the side. We both like, oh, Chanika, what are you doing on the side? So whatever I did, she did. I taught her how to do taxes. Like we were, work together. So when I started the business, of course I went to her. Now she's a 6-figure earner. She's growing a team of her own. She has over 80 licensed agents. She's about to promote out her first regional vice president. It's exciting that because we said yes here, she's now being able to impact lives. Okay. Hope, her and I, we go to church together. And she has her own office in Garland. Same thing. She was a go-getter. Because we said yes here, she's able to impact lives. Okay. Sharon, her and I were counselors together. Right. I met her at a counselors meeting and I said, look, I spoke to everybody, y'all. I wasn't afraid to open my mouth and talk to people. I'm at a counselors meeting. I told all the counselors there, I said, look, I'm leaving the district. I'm starting my own business. I want to share with you what I do. She didn't know at the time, but when she found out I left the district, she called me and she was like, Chanika, what are you doing? I heard you left the district. Now she's a regional vice president. Okay. Cornisha, that's our daughter. It took me 3 years for her to say yes. Now she's a regional vice president, near-term 6-figure earner. Right. And so I knew this is how this business works. And then through the business, I met my next 4 regional vice presidents, Audrey and Robert Lewis, near-term 6-figure earners, right? Megan Hay, former teacher, about to cross over 50,000. She's a new regional vice president. Tayana and her husband, James, former teacher. This month, she'll cross over 50,000 in income, working for yourself. See, 50,000 here is different from 50,000 on a job, right? Alex and Marvin, they're pastors of a church. Y'all, this is what this business does. You get to impact lives. Now think about it. They're pastors of a church. They have a whole influence of people they work with to teach them about their finances, get their stuff in order. Because we said yes, we're able to impact lives. We have over 400 licensed agents, that we train and work with, and our brokers train and work with. It's just amazing. If you really love working with people and helping people, why not help them? See, this is what I learned, okay? I love helping people, right? As a counselor, I learned this. The number one reason for divorce is because of money. The number one reason for child abuse is because of money. So you help people with their money, you're ultimately helping their marriage and you're helping their parenting. So why not give this a try? Why not use your same skills of teaching that you love and bring it to this industry that's going to pay you more?
Well, thank you very much, Chanika. You are special, and You're becoming iconic. The whole company knows who you are. And I want to put a little shout out to Edward. What a masterful, powerful presence he's made with you, and we can tell. So congratulations, Edward, for being a great spouse, but also a great couple. It wasn't just him or you, it was together you've done this. And how many families, I can't let you go. Isn't it wonderful to do this with your husband?
Absolutely.
And it's a business, not a thing that you're doing or a thing that he's doing. Talk about that for one last time.
I love being able to, and here's the thing, he talks about this all the time because he started business before I did. He had his own mechanic business, and he said he wanted something for me. He wanted me to have the same freedom and stress-free life from a job as he had. And so when Primerica came along, he knew this was for me. And so to be able to work side by side with him, to be able to dream, to be able to talk without having the financial worries and woes that you have in working a job, like I can't put a price tag on that. To be able to say, you know what, he'll say, let's, he surprised me with the house. Literally, he was like, okay, Chica, I'm going to show you something. We went in the backyard. Our whole backyard has been transformed, right? He has this nice oasis in the backyard. So we go in the backyard and he shows me all these pictures. He's like, look, I was thinking about us getting this house right here. I mean, and it's just, I'm like, okay, I like that, but to be able to do that and not have the financial worries, like we literally paid our taxes, y'all. This is amazing. So we qualified to get the house, and we only owed, I say only because I would have owed more than that as a school counselor, $14,000 for our taxes. Literally just paid that off just like that. I know the bank is like, where all this money coming from? Like every month you're getting this type of money, to be able to save, oh my gosh, to have money in a savings account, have money in investments, to look at that, like you can't put a price tag to that. I don't worry about money today. I don't worry about having to make sure ends meet and I got to go work a side job. Let me go mentor kids over here. Let me go do this so we can have extra money to go on a vacation, to be able to go on a vacation and not have to worry about swiping the card, to go to the gas station and not have to pray that your card goes through. Like, I'm just saying, you can't put a price tag to that. I 100% love the fact that I get to work with my husband, that we get to talk, we get to dream, we get to just live life without the worries of finances. You can't put a price tag to it.
The company has paid you, I guess, a couple of million.
Yep.
Here. And if you do really well, they give you company stock, don't they?
Yep.
How much company stock have they given you free?
Oh my gosh. I can't even, I haven't even, Edward knows the numbers more than I do, but you get every RVP you promote out, you get company stock. So let's just say on average, 11,000 per RVP I promoted out, plus people you promote within your, over 100,000 in company stock.
And that's in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And so imagine what the next 3-4 years are going to be like. This is free company stock that's growing. It's one of the best stocks in America.
Yes.
Chanika, thank you so much. I love your smile, and I love the fact that you want to share this with everybody. That's why you're on. Well, thank you very much, Chanika and Edward, and everybody else. We're going to give you back to the people that invited you to do a Zoom call with them and get more information. God bless everybody. And for those on our team, we'll see you on Saturday. All right, bye-bye. Thank you, Chanika.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.